What's going on? It's Fight Season MMA, and today I want to make a video talking about the top 10 fighters with the best chin inside the UFC. And what do I mean like this? I mean that these fighters can take a shot, not get rocked, and have an uncanny ability to walk through punches, because there are some fighters over others who have a true ability to be able to walk through shots and make it their primary form of defense inside the UFC octagon. If you guys enjoy the UFC content, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. That is the best way to support the channel. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers, so please go down there and hit that subscribe button. That makes it 100% the best way to support the channel. Also, if you guys want to stay up to date with the most recent MMA content, please go turn on the post notifications down there in the near the description, and also leave a comment down below if you guys want me to respond as fast as possible. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let's jump right into the video. The top 10 fighters with the best chin inside the UFC. At number 10, I got Yadong. Yadong has a very, very, very good chin, and I'm going to say this once, and it's going to come back up, and you'll understand why. The Peter Yan test is a great way to talk about who has a really good chin, because Yadong fought Peter Yan at UFC 299, and he was walking through some massive punches, and he really wasn't getting that bothered by them. He also fought Corey Sandhagen, where Sandhagen was hitting him with some crazy elbows and some other things like that, but Yadong has an unreal chin, and that allows him to truly walk through a lot of different barrages of punches to be able to go in there and fulfill his game plan furthermore into the fight. Song has great defense, but having that good chin behind him is something that really allows him to flourish inside the UFC octagon, especially since that he has such a reckless style in there with so much power that he can kind of stand in the pocket a little bit longer, because he knows if he gets hit, nothing bad is going to happen. It's just going to hurt a little bit. But Song Yadong is my number 10 fighter at the UFC, top 10 fighters who have the best chin inside the organization. At number 9, I have Shavkat Rakhmonov, and Shavkat Rakhmonov has been in some absolute wars inside the UFC, and namely that fight with Jeff Neal. That was an absolutely banger of a fight to put on UFC 285, where Jeff Neal came in over a couple pounds overweight, and Shavkat still went in there and got the bulldog choke finish. But Shavkat Rakhmonov has an absolute chin on him, and that fight against Jeff Neal, he was getting cracked with some absolutely impressive shots to take. Bilal Muhammad got knocked out by Jeff Neal a long time ago, and those were the shots that Bilal wasn't able to take, and Shavkat was going in there and absorbing them like they were cupcakes on him. So Shavkat's really got an amazing chin. He's able to walk through punches. He's able to really get himself inside the octagon and rely on his chin to hold up while having a good defense and really high IQ to be able to avoid punches, go to the ground if needed if he's taking too much damage, or truly go in there and avoid the contact inside the UFC. Shavkat Rakhmonov is number 9 on my best fighters' chins inside the UFC, and these are the top 10 fighters of that. And my number 8 fighter is Sean O'Malley, and this is another one of those where, if you remember when I said we'll bring back the Peter Yan test, the Peter Yan test is now in effect for Sean O'Malley, and Sean O'Malley ate the cleanest left hand I think I have ever seen inside the UFC, and 99% of fighters within the organization would be knocked out by that. And Sean O'Malley ate it like a champ in that fight and went on to win that fight against Peter Yan. Now, I'm not talking about the decision being really close, because I know a lot of people think that he lost that fight. I do believe Sean O'Malley won that fight against Peter Yan, but there is 100% an argument for Sean O'Malley losing that fight in Abu Dhabi at UFC 280. But Sean O'Malley ate in a massive right overhand against Peter Yan, and that was one of the most impressive punches I've ever seen take. Sean O'Malley is very elusive, so he doesn't really have to put his chin on display. But when his chin is put on display, it is one chin that is made out of granite. If he gets hit, he's not going down. He's got that chin behind him, and that only makes him a more dominant force in the champion spot. Because if you're going to knock him out, you got to do it with the hardest shot you got. And that is why Sean O'Malley is number 8 on my list of top 10 fighters who have the best chin inside the UFC. At number 7 on my top 10 fighters with the best chin inside the UFC organization, I have Michael Chandler. Michael Chandler has had some absolute battles inside the UFC. Dustin Poirier, Charles Oliveira, Justin Gaethje, Tony Ferguson he got knocked down by. There was some absolutely crazy battles in there, and there is the clips of Michael Chandler just walking through punches from Justin Gaethje, getting in those pocket boxing exchanges with Dustin Poirier. Some absolutely crazy moments in it. A lot of those fighters getting hit by those shots would get absolutely rocked. getting knocked down by Dustin Poirier is one of those things that Benoit Saint Denis couldn't do, and Benoit has a pretty decent chin, but Michael Chandler was eating those shots like it was a little bug on his face. He was feeling a little bit of an itch. That's why he went down to his knees rather than getting knocked down. He just needed to move out of the way real quick just to get his, get himself re-rolled and get him back into the fight real quick. Just a quick recoup. And then get back in to get punched by Dustin Poirier. But Michael Chandler has an amazing chin. That is one of his best characteristics inside the UFC. And with a possible Conor McGregor fight, I think that's going to be something that's going to be very hard for Conor McGregor to really take advantage of. He's going to have to hit Michael Chandler with the perfect shot to really do a lot of damage and knock him out. But Michael Chandler is number 7 on my top 10 fighters with the best chin inside the UFC organization. At number 6, top 10 fighters with the best chin inside the UFC organization, I actually have Arnold Allen. And Arnold Allen just fought Giga Chikadze at UFC 304, and he was absorbing some really, really big shots from Giga, and he was just kind of walking through them like they were nothing, really a piece of cake. But there was other fights that Arnold Allen has really shown that his chin is absolutely impeccable, and that was the fight against Max Holloway last year in 2023 in St. Louis, Missouri. No, it was in Kansas City, Missouri, my fault. And he was doing a great job going through those punches. I know in the 5th round he kind of got dropped, went down to a knee, but that was an incredible punch that Justin Gaethje got absolutely slept by. And Arnold Allen ate like it was a little tic-tac thrown at his face. So Arnold Allen has an amazing chin. He's been in some absolute wars inside the UFC. That fight with Dan Hooker, the fight with Max Holloway, the fight with Giga Chikadze, the fight with Movsar Evloev. Even though Movsar isn't a great striker, Arnold Allen was still absorbing some of those shots in a very good manner, not looking like he was hurt that bad. But Arnold Allen, in my opinion, is number 6 on my top 10 UFC fighters with the best chin, just because of how he's shown it against fighters like Max Holloway and Dan Hooker. And number 5 fighters with the best chin inside the UFC organization, I have Tom Aspinall. And Tom Aspinall, in his fights, he has the shortest fight time currently in the UFC, just over 2 minutes. But in all of these fights that he's having, he's getting cracked at least once. In this UFC 304 co-main event with Curtis Blades, he did get cracked one time in that fight, and he took it incredibly well. In that Sergey Pavlovich fight at UFC 295, where he won the UFC heavyweight interim title, he got absolutely piped in by Sergey Pavlovich, and that was an incredibly hard shot. Sergey is one of the hardest hitters inside the UFC of all time, and Tom Aspinall took that shot amazingly to then go knock out Sergey Pavlovich in 1 minute and 7 seconds. Being in the UFC heavyweight division, one of the best things to have is a chin. No matter how elusive, no matter how good your defense is, having a chin is absolutely essential because of how hard these guys hit. I know this guy isn't in the heavyweight division, but Johnny Walker in the white heavyweight division has such a hard time because those guys hit so hard up there, and if he gets tapped by anything, he goes night-night and goes to sleep because, he has his portable bed on him all the time. Whereas Tom Aspinall has a chin made out of granite where he can absorb any shot that comes in his way. And that is why Tom Aspinall is number 5 on my top 10 fighters with the best chin inside the UFC organization. Number 4 on my list of top 10 fighters with the best chin inside the UFC organization, I have Alexandre Pantoja. Pantoja's main defense is his chin. And you look at these absolute wars with Steve Erzeg, Brandon Royval, Brandon Moreno. The thing that really has been his main defense is that granite chin that he possesses. Pantoja is an absolute warrior gladiator when he's inside the UFC octagon, and he keeps trudging forward every single time, even though his chin is getting battle tested through and through by these fighters. Steve Erzeg was putting it on him. Pantoja possibly could have lost that fight, even though he did get the decision of victory, and I know it was very close, but I did think Erzeg won that fight. But Pantoja was walking through punches, and he was doing something that was absolutely insane that a lot of other fighters couldn't do, using his chin as his main form of defense. He kind of keeps his hands a little lower, so his chin is really up there to get shot, but since he has an absolute just built chin, it is able to take a bunch of these shots, which is something that really allows him have the best defense that he possibly can, even though it isn't probably the most economical style for defense because his chin will deteriorate over time. But Alexandre Pantoja definitely has one of the best chins inside the UFC organization, and that is why he is number 4 on my list. Number 3 on my best chins inside the UFC organization list, I have Kevin Holland. Kevin Holland's chin is genuinely unreal. Some of these shots that he was taking from Michael Venom Page, the spinning back elbows, and all of those shots, so many fighters would have been knocked out. If you look at that welterweight division, Leon Edwards, Bilal Muhammad, Kamaru Usman, Ian Gary, a lot of these fighters who took those shots would have been out cold, and because Kevin Holland has a chin of just, I don't even know, it's cinder blocks. That man's chin is insane. He can walk through any punch he wants. That boy could walk through a car hitting him. That boy can literally do whatever he wants with his chin. If he needs to just, I don't know, it's hard like diamonds. I don't know. It's Kevin Holland's chin is absolutely insane, and it keeps me with a lack of words to really say, because I've seen Kevin Holland fight so many times, and to see him walk through so many shots that he has, and his chin just be perfectly fine, is absolutely insane. He just fought Michelle Oleksiejczuk at UFC 302, and he got cracked with a shot there. And he said post-fight that it didn't even hurt when he got cracked. And he submitted him with the armbar. And that just shows that Kevin Holland got hit with a massive shot. He wasn't really wobbled, or he didn't lose his equilibrium or anything like that. He was just kind of stunned. He was a little bit surprised that he got cracked. So then he just started to throw up an armbar and got the armbar submission pretty quickly. But Kevin Holland has one of the best chins inside the UFC organization, and it genuinely, I question how good and what he does to keep his chin that good, because he absorbs so many shots inside the UFC that a lot of fighters shouldn't take, and that is why Kevin Holland is number 3 on my top 10 best chins inside the UFC. And number 2, best chins inside the UFC organization, I have Max Holloway. And you might not be thinking, Max Holloway's not number 1. I think there's one fighter who has a better chin than Max Holloway inside the UFC organization. But Max Holloway has the best chin, I think, in the featherweight division right now. He just fought Justin Gaethje. And technically, he didn't get knocked down. But in that fourth round, I thought Gaethje knocked him down with that shot that sent Max Holloway down sitting. But Max Holloway has been in so many different wars. That war with Yair Rodriguez, where he was getting cracked with shots and he didn't get knocked down. Max Holloway's face turns to an absolute mess before he can get knocked down. I don't know why Max Holloway's chin is so good, considering of how, how frail, I shouldn't say he is, but of how skinny he is compared to someone like Volkanovski, and how thick Volkanovski's neck is compared to Holloway's, of how Holloway has a way better chin than him. But I know in this upcoming fight against Ilia Topuria, Max Holloway's chin is going to be something that is a true benefit to him, because Ilia Topuria hits like a truck. And if it's going to be told very early on, if Max Holloway can absorb some of these shots from Ilia Topuria, that it's going to really benefit him, because Ilia's power is going to mean a lot less than someone like Volkanovski, to where he touched him and he went to sleep. But Max Holloway's chin has aided him so much in a bunch of fights. The fight with Yair, the fight with the Korean Zombie, the fight with Arnold Allen, the fight with Justin Gaethje. Max Holloway's chin has been something that has really allowed him to flourish inside the UFC octagon, and that is why he is number 2 on my top 10 fighters with the best chin inside the UFC organization. And my number 1 fighter with the best chin inside the UFC organization, in my opinion, is easily Chito Vera. Chito Vera's chin, I have no words to describe how different his chin is. It really baffles me of how Chito Vera literally fought Sean O'Malley, got hit with a knee that was like a baseball bat running through metal like butter, just boom, everyone heard it. And it looked 2 days later that Chito Vera was just sunbathing on the coast of Africa, just laying there because of he just looked perfectly fine. And Chito Vera just still has not been knocked down in 23 fights inside the UFC. Chito Vera has the longest active streak of not being knocked down in a singular fight inside the UFC octagon. And Chito Vera has been in some absolutely incredible wars. That fight with Sean O'Malley that he didn't get knocked down by. Even that Pedro Munoz fight, he was getting piped with some really big shots. The Corey Sandhagen fight, the Rob Font fight, a lot of these, the Jose Aldo fight, a lot of these fights, Chito Vera has been in some very, very hard fights for him to win. But his chin is tried and true, made out of adamantium, and he just runs through every single shot that is thrown at him, and it is something to behold. He is fighting Deiveson Figueiredo this weekend, and Deiveson Figueiredo is somewhat of a power puncher. He was known as a power puncher inside the UFC 125 division, and I think that he's going to be able to excel through the grappling department, but he is not going to be able to knock out Chito Vera. If Sean O'Malley can't knock down Chito Vera with that knee, I genuinely don't think a rocket hitting Chito Vera right in the chin would be able to knock him down, because that's how good Chito Vera's chin is. But Chito Vera is 100% my number 1 fighter inside the UFC organization. I did debate putting Max Holloway up there, but seeing Chito Vera eat that knee from Sean O'Malley 100% solidified why I believe Chito Vera's chin is the best inside the UFC octagon, no doubt, and that is why he falls at number 1 on my list. Thank you guys so much for watching this episode of Fight Season MMA, and please let me know what you think about my list of the top 10 fighters with the best chin inside the organization. I'll recap it real quick. Song Yadong at 10, Shavkat Rakhmonov at 9, Sean O'Malley at 8, Michael Chandler at 7, Arnold Allen at 6, Tom Aspinall at 5, Alexandre Pantoja at 4, Kevin Holland at 3, Max Holloway at 2, and Chito Vera at 1. I truly do think that these fighters have an uncanny chin compared to a lot of the rest of the UFC organization, and I really think that taking a shot for these fighters is something that is a lot less taxing than some other fighters inside the UFC. If you guys enjoy the UFC content, please go leave a like, comment, and subscribe. 97.2% of my viewers who watch my videos are not subscribed, so please go down there and hit that subscribe button. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers, and it would mean an absolute ton if you guys went down there and just tapped the subscribe button. It is free and it is easy to do. And if you guys want to stay updated to the most recent UFC content and breakdowns, please go hit the post notifications. It is something that is also free and allows you to guys know to when I drop YouTube videos as fast as possible. Thank you guys so much for watching this episode of Fight Season MMA, and I will catch you guys very soon with more UFC content and news.